Success isn't about telling people what you're going to do. It's about showing them what you've already done. Behind every success is quiet persistence. Work in silence, and the world will be shocked by your growth. We live in a world where everyone seems to want attention, likes, and recognition. But what if the key to success lies in focusing on the work without the constant need for validation? What if the real impact comes from showing up every day, working hard in the background, and letting your results speak for themselves? In today's video, we're going to talk about just that, working hard in silence, and letting your success do all the talking. This approach is about building something solid, something lasting, without the need to announce every move you make. It's about putting in the effort when no one is watching and reaping the rewards later, in ways that will surprise and even shock those around you. I know what it's like to feel the urge to prove yourself, to show others you're capable, or to want their approval. But the truth is, when you focus solely on your work and your goals, you don't need to tell the world what you're doing. Your progress will speak for itself. The quiet grind, the long hours, the early mornings and the late nights will eventually pay off, and people will notice the success you've built. Not because you showed off your effort, but because the results are undeniable. In this video, I'll break down exactly why working hard in silence is one of the most effective ways to create lasting success. I'm going to show you how to cut through the noise, block out distractions, and focus on the things that will actually get you to where you want to go. Stick around, because by the end you'll understand why staying focused, working quietly, and letting your success speak for itself will set you apart and leave others stunned by the progress you've made. Number 1. The best work happens in private. We want to be noticed. We want people to see how far we've come, and we want them to acknowledge our hard work. But here's something I want you to consider. The best work happens in private. It's not the loud moments or the big reveals that make the biggest impact. It's the quiet, consistent effort that builds something real, something lasting. Let me share a truth with you that can change the way you approach your goals. You don't need to announce every step you take. In fact, you're better off doing the work without the need for validation. The most powerful thing you can do is show up every day, do the work, and keep your eyes on the long-term results. Think about some of the most successful people in history. I'm talking about the ones who have truly made a mark. The Steve Jobs of the world, the Michael Jordans, the athletes, the artists, and the entrepreneurs who've changed industries and reshaped history. None of them became great by telling the world every move they made. In fact, many of them spent years, sometimes decades, working without anyone knowing their names or their plans. Look at the early years of Apple, for example. Steve Jobs was not out there shouting from the rooftops about how great his company was going to be. He was building, testing, and working tirelessly, quietly shaping a vision that would later transform the world. The best part? He did this without needing to tell everyone his every move. His work spoke for him when the time was right. Why is this so important for you? Because if you're constantly seeking attention or validation for every little step, you're missing the point of what it really means to build something of value. The work you do in private, when no one is watching, is the foundation for everything that will come later. It's the hours you spend practicing, learning, and refining your craft. It's the discipline to keep going when no one is cheering for you. You see, working in private has a huge benefit. It gives you the freedom to fail, and failure when you're alone and learning doesn't have the same weight. You can stumble, fall, and get back up without worrying about what others think. No one is there to judge you. No one is there to tell you that you're not good enough. You can be honest with yourself, work through your challenges, and truly grow. You get to make mistakes without the pressure of having to explain them to anyone else. Let's talk about this for a moment. Why do we feel the need to announce everything? Why do we have this instinct to tell the world what we're up to before we've even reached the finish line? It comes down to our desire for validation. We want to be acknowledged for our hard work. But here's the thing. True success doesn't require applause along the way. In fact, the more you focus on your work rather than the audience, the more you'll accomplish. Think about the days when you first started out, when no one knew who you were and no one was paying attention to what you were doing. Those were the days when you were building your foundation, creating your path. If you had been more focused on telling people what you were doing, you might have gotten distracted, lost your momentum, or let their opinions affect you. But instead, you kept your head down, kept working, and little by little, you made progress. And when you finally showed the world the results, people couldn't deny it. They were shocked by how far you'd come. They didn't see the sweat, the struggle, or the quiet effort behind the scenes. All they saw were the results. And that's what really matters. When you work in private, you can control the pace. You're not distracted by the need for instant results or feedback. You're not constantly worried about what others think. You can take the time to truly perfect your craft, to get better every day, and to build something you're proud of. You know that it's not about getting credit every step of the way. It's about mastering your skill and continuing to push yourself forward, no matter who's watching. The best work doesn't need a spotlight. The most successful people, the ones who truly make an impact, don't need to announce their plans to the world. They just get to work. They do the hard stuff in private, the stuff that builds the foundation. They don't wait for someone to tell them they're good enough. They don't wait for permission. They do the work because they know it matters. And they know that success doesn't happen overnight. There's also something incredibly powerful about showing up every day, doing the work without needing to tell anyone. It builds a sense of discipline and self-reliance. When you're constantly sharing what you're doing with others, there's a chance that you'll become dependent on their approval. You'll start to measure your progress, not by the results, but by how much recognition you get along the way. And that's a dangerous trap. But when you work in silence, when you trust the process, you create a deeper sense of self-confidence. You prove to yourself that you don't need anyone else to validate your efforts. Your confidence grows from within, not from the opinions of others. You start to realize that the most important thing is your commitment to the work itself, not the recognition that follows. Here's another reason why working in private is so important. It allows you to stay focused. When you're not announcing your every move, you avoid the distractions that come with external opinions. You stop worrying about what others are doing, or whether they think you're on the right track. You learn to trust your own process and stay aligned with your own goals. You protect your energy and your focus for the work that really matters. Remember, success is built in the quiet moments. It's in the hours you put in when no one is watching. It's in the practice, the learning, the trial and error. And when the time comes to show the world what you've built, they won't be able to ignore it. Your results will speak for themselves. So the next time you feel the urge to announce your plans, take a step back, focus on the work, do it in private. Let your success be the surprise. And trust me, when it's time, everyone will notice. Number 2, the discipline of doing the work without announcing it. The discipline of doing the work without announcing it. You see, it's easy to get caught up in the excitement of telling everyone what you're about to do. It feels good to share your goals, to get others excited for you, and maybe even to get their support. But here's the thing. Real success doesn't come from talking about it. It comes from the quiet, everyday commitment to doing the work, day in and day out, without the need for applause. You've probably heard the saying, actions speak louder than words. But how often do we forget that? How many times have we talked about something we were going to do, only to find ourselves distracted or stuck before we even started? Talking about your goals is easy. It's the doing that's hard, but it's in the doing that success is born. The discipline of working without announcing it is what separates the dreamers from the achievers. It's what turns your vision into reality. Now, I'm not saying you should keep everything a secret. There are times when sharing your goals can be motivating, and there's value in having people who hold you accountable. But I want you to understand something important. The real work doesn't require an audience. The most powerful things you will ever achieve will be the result of your quiet dedication, your ability to stay focused, and your willingness to put in the hours when no one is watching. It's the consistent work you do behind the scenes that will pay off in the long run, not the stories you tell along the way. When you start something new, it's natural to feel excited. You're passionate, full of energy, and ready to share your enthusiasm with the world. But there's a danger in this excitement. You might get so caught up in talking about what you're going to do that you forget to actually do it. And when you talk about your goals too much, you risk losing the energy you had for them in the first place. The more you talk, the less you act. You've probably seen this before. Someone who is always talking about what they're going to do, but never actually gets it done. It's easy to get stuck in that cycle, because when you announce your plans, you get a little hit of excitement, a little validation from others. But that feeling fades quickly, and it doesn't help you get closer to your goals. This is where discipline comes in. Discipline is the ability to keep going when it's hard, to keep showing up when no one is watching, to keep working even when there's no immediate reward. It's the decision to do the work because it matters, not because it's easy or because you're getting recognition for it. The true reward comes from the work itself, the satisfaction of knowing that you're making progress, that you're moving closer to your goal, no matter who knows about it. Discipline is what keeps you going when things aren't going well. It's what makes you wake up early to work, even when you don't feel like it. It's what gets you to keep going, even when there are no applause or congratulations. Discipline is about consistency. It's about deciding that you're going to do what needs to be done, no matter how long it takes, no matter how difficult it gets, and without waiting for someone to notice. It's about building habits that align with your goals and trusting that the results will come if you keep putting in the work. Now let's talk about something that might be hard to hear. When you do the work without announcing it, you're going to face doubt. People might not understand what you're doing, and they might question whether you'll ever succeed. And you know what? That's okay. In fact, it's more than okay. It's normal. It's part of the process. Because the truth is, not everyone is going to believe in you at first. Not everyone is going to see your vision or understand the effort you're putting in behind the scenes. But that's where discipline comes in. It's the ability to keep working, even when no one is cheering for you, even when people doubt your ability to succeed. If you let the opinions of others control your actions, you'll never get anywhere. The key is to stay focused on your goal, and remember that you're doing this for yourself, not for anyone else. People who announce their goals often have a lot of support in the beginning. People are excited for them. They want to see them succeed. But when the novelty wears off, when the hard work starts to get difficult, when the progress isn't as fast as they thought, that's when the true test of discipline comes. Are you still going to do the work, even when no one is watching? Are you still going to show up every day, even when the excitement has faded? That's what separates those who succeed from those who don't. It's not about how much noise you make at the beginning. It's about your commitment to keep going, to keep doing the work, even when it's tough. It's easy to get caught up in the idea of needing external motivation or recognition. We all want to be seen and appreciated for our hard work. But here's the truth. The real reward is not in the applause. It's in the growth you experience when you put in the work, day after day. The real satisfaction comes from knowing that you're moving closer to your goal, even when no one else is aware of it. You're doing this for you, and that's all that matters. One of the most powerful things you can do is to make the work the reward. Don't wait for someone else to give you a pat on the back. Don't wait for validation or approval. Instead, find joy in the process. Find satisfaction in the fact that you're doing something that matters, that you're putting in the effort, and that you're committed to seeing it through, no matter how long it takes. When you start to embrace the discipline of working without announcing it, you'll notice something incredible. The more you focus on the work itself, the more you'll find yourself growing and improving. Your skills will sharpen, your confidence will grow, and your results will speak for themselves. And when you finally achieve what you set out to do, it won't be because you spent all your time talking about it. It'll be because you did the work, and you did it quietly, consistently, without the need for external validation. Number 3, why people doubt you and why it doesn't matter. It's the idea that when you are on the road to success, people are going to doubt you. They might question your ability. They might wonder why you're putting in the effort, and they might even tell you that you're wasting your time. But here's the truth. That doesn't matter. Not one bit. You see, when you're doing something that is different from what everyone else is doing, when you're working towards a goal that others can't fully understand, they're going to doubt you. It's natural. People have their own doubts and insecurities, and sometimes they project those onto you. They might look at what you're doing and think it's too risky, too hard, or too far out of reach. But you have to realize that this doubt isn't something that you need to take personally. It's not about you, it's about them. And it's not a reflection of your ability or your potential. The people who doubt you, the ones who think you can't make it, or that it's impossible, they're not in the trenches with you. They're not putting in the work. They're not seeing the daily grind, the sacrifices, the commitment you're making. All they see is the surface level, the early stages when things might not look so polished. They don't see the late nights, the extra hours, the hard decisions, or the determination that you're putting into your success. They're not aware of your inner strength, your drive, or the passion that fuels your progress. And here's the thing, while they might doubt you, you have something much more powerful on your side. Belief in yourself. The confidence that despite the doubt of others, you are going to make it happen. You are going to do the work. You are going to overcome the challenges. The more they doubt you, the stronger your belief should become. Because here's the truth. Doubt is a reflection of someone else's limitations, not yours. Their doubt is based on their own fears and experiences, not yours. There's a reason why people doubt you. It's because they don't understand what you're doing. They don't see the vision that you have. When you're working on something new, something that's outside of the norm, it's easy for others to dismiss it. But you don't need their approval. You don't need them to believe in you. You only need to believe in yourself. That belief will carry you through when the going gets tough. It will keep you focused when you feel like giving up. And it will push you forward when the world seems to be pulling you back. The doubts that others have about you don't define you. What defines you is how you respond to that doubt. Are you going to let it hold you back? Are you going to let other people's opinions determine your worth? Or are you going to take that doubt, use it as fuel, and prove everyone wrong? The choice is yours. If you've ever been in a position where someone has doubted your abilities or your dreams, you know how discouraging it can feel. But let me tell you something. There's a great power in that. Doubt isn't something to fear. It's something to use. It's a reminder that you're doing something that's different, that's special, that's outside the box. And as long as you're doing something that challenges the status quo, you can expect doubt to follow you. But don't let that stop you. Use it to propel yourself forward. People who doubt you often do so because they're afraid. They're afraid of what might happen if you succeed, or they're afraid of what your success might mean for them. When you start making progress, when you start breaking through barriers, it can make others uncomfortable because it reminds them of what they're not doing, and that discomfort can lead to doubt. But you can't let that get to you. You have to understand that their doubt is a reflection of their own fears and not a reflection of your potential. Their doubt is based on what they think is possible, not what you know is possible. If you want to succeed, you have to learn to ignore the doubt. Don't let other people's opinions distract you from your goal. Don't let their fear hold you back. Trust in your ability to push forward, even when things are difficult, even when you're not seeing immediate results. Success is a long game, and the people who doubt you won't be around when you're on the other side of it. They'll be long gone, wondering how you did it, asking you for advice, and you'll be able to tell them the truth, that you never stopped believing in yourself, even when they didn't. The thing is, doubt is inevitable. It's part of the process. Whenever you're working towards something big, something that requires hard work, patience, and sacrifice, there will always be doubt. There will be moments when you question yourself. There will be moments when you wonder if it's all worth it. But that's when you have to dig deep. That's when you have to remind yourself why you started, why you're putting in the work. Your belief has to be stronger than any doubt that comes your way. You might hear people tell you that your dreams are unrealistic, or that what you're trying to do has never been done before. But that's not the point. The point is that you are willing to try. You are willing to put in the effort, even when others doubt you. And that is what will set you apart. The more you stay focused on your goal, the more you block out the doubt, the closer you get to success. And when you finally achieve what you've set out to do, when you reach the level of success that others didn't believe was possible, it will feel so much sweeter. It will feel that much more rewarding, because you've proven that you didn't need anyone else's validation. You didn't need anyone else's approval. You did it on your own, despite the doubts, despite the naysayers. And that's something no one can ever take away from you. Number 4, cutting out distractions and staying focused. They're the things that show up in your day and make you lose focus. Whether it's a text message, a notification on your phone, or just the noise and chaos of life around you. And let me tell you, if you let them, distractions will take you off course. They'll prevent you from focusing on what really matters. And before you know it, time has slipped away. and you're further from your goals than when you started. This is why staying focused is one of the most critical skills you can develop, especially when you're working hard in silence, trying to build something great. Here's the thing. When you're working on something important, something that requires real effort and commitment, distractions can feel like they're everywhere. And it's not just the obvious ones either. It's easy to blame the phone or the constant barrage of emails. But distractions can also come in the form of negative thoughts, the opinions of others, or even your own mind telling you to take a break, to rest, to relax, to procrastinate. It's easy to let those thoughts take hold, but you have to learn how to shut them down. You have to learn how to get rid of those distractions that don't serve your purpose. Let me ask you something. Have you ever been in a situation where you had a task to complete, but you just couldn't focus? Maybe you had a goal in mind, but you kept getting sidetracked. You start thinking about the weekend or what's for dinner, and before you know it, the day has passed, and you've made no progress. It's frustrating. It can feel like you're spinning your wheels, like you're not getting anywhere. But here's the truth. Distractions don't just take your time. They steal your energy. They drain your focus. They keep you from fully investing yourself in the work that needs to be done. Now let me tell you something important. The work that you're doing is too important to be interrupted. Your goals, your dreams, your vision for the future. These are all too valuable to let distractions get in the way. It doesn't matter what's going on around you, or how loud the world may seem. If you want to succeed, you have to develop the ability to shut out the noise and zero in on the task at hand. That's what separates those who get things done from those who waste their time and never see any real results. I know it's not easy. In fact, it's one of the hardest things to do. The world is full of distractions. We live in an age where our attention is constantly being pulled in different directions. There's always something happening, always something to grab our focus. But let me tell you, if you don't make the conscious decision to stay focused, you will find yourself overwhelmed and distracted before you know it. It's like this when you're working hard in silence. The temptation to look around and compare yourself to others can be overwhelming. You might find yourself scrolling through social media, looking at what everyone else is doing, and thinking, why am I not there yet? It's easy to get caught up in what others are doing, but the problem with that is that it pulls your attention away from what matters most. Your own progress, your own journey. So how do you stay focused? How do you shut out the distractions that threaten to derail your efforts? The first thing you need to do is set clear boundaries. If your phone is a constant distraction, put it on silent or turn it off for a while. Create a dedicated space for work, free from the noise of the outside world. Get rid of anything that isn't serving your purpose. And let me tell you something. That includes people. Not everyone is going to understand what you're doing. Not everyone is going to support your efforts, and that's okay. But you can't afford to let those distractions, those negative influences, get in your way. One of the most powerful things you can do is create a schedule and stick to it. Give yourself specific blocks of time to work and commit to focusing during those times. It's amazing how much you can accomplish when you have dedicated time to focus. You'll be amazed at how much faster and more efficiently you can work when you eliminate distractions. And when you finish your work during those blocks, reward yourself with some time to relax or enjoy something you like. But don't mix the two. When it's time to work, focus on working. When it's time to relax, let yourself enjoy that time. It's all about balance. But here's something I really want you to understand. The more you work in silence, the more you train your mind to stay focused, the better you will get at it. Focus is like a muscle. The more you exercise it, the stronger it becomes. And when your focus becomes stronger, you'll be amazed at what you can achieve. It's like you'll be in a flow state where everything clicks and the work just gets done. There's no wasted time. You're moving forward, and the progress you're making becomes unstoppable. One of the biggest reasons people fail to stay focused is because they're afraid of what's going to happen if they actually succeed. Let that sink in. They fear success more than they fear failure. They're so afraid of what might happen if they really focus and go all in that they distract themselves on purpose. It's a defense mechanism. It's easier to say, I didn't have time or I couldn't focus, than it is to face the reality of actually achieving what you set out to do. But let me tell you, the road to success is not for the faint of heart. If you want to win, if you want to achieve something great, you've got to commit to it. And that means staying focused, no matter how hard it gets. If you're serious about success, you have to be serious about focus. You have to understand that the time you spend working is precious, and you can't afford to waste it. You can't afford to let distractions pull you away from your dreams. So eliminate them. Don't let them have power over you. Take control of your time. Take control of your focus, and watch how everything in your life begins to change. But it's not just about eliminating distractions. It's about developing the discipline to stay focused, even when it feels uncomfortable. Because let me tell you, it will feel uncomfortable. At first it's hard. At first you'll want to give up. But as you keep pushing through, as you keep focusing, it gets easier. And soon you'll find that the work you're doing becomes effortless. You'll find that you can focus for longer periods, that you're accomplishing more than you ever thought possible. And here's the best part. When you stay focused, when you eliminate distractions, your results will speak for themselves. You won't have to announce your success to anyone. Your work will show for itself. And when people see what you've accomplished, they won't be able to deny the power of your focus. They won't be able to deny the work you put in, the discipline you've developed, and the success you've earned. Number 5. Let the results speak for themselves. When you're working hard, when you're doing the daily grind, there's this temptation to show the world what you're doing, to post it on social media, to talk about it with your friends and family, to announce your progress to anyone who will listen. You might feel like you want validation or recognition for your efforts. And there's nothing wrong with wanting to be seen or appreciated for your hard work. But let me tell you something. The best way to measure your success isn't through likes, comments, or applause. It's through the results that you create. The world doesn't need to know what you're doing every second of the day. Your work, when it's real and substantial, will speak for itself. I'm sure you've noticed how easy it is to get caught up in seeking approval or praise from others. We live in a time where everyone's sharing their lives, posting their accomplishments, and trying to gain followers, likes, and attention. But I've learned that the people who truly succeed, the ones who achieve something meaningful and lasting, they don't need to tell anyone what they're doing. Their results speak for themselves. The success they've created doesn't need an announcement. It doesn't need a fanfare. It's obvious. It's undeniable. It's there for everyone to see. Think about this for a second. Have you ever met someone who was quietly successful? Someone who didn't need to boast about what they were doing? Maybe it was a person who's been working in the background day in and day out, just doing the right things, focusing on their goals, and pushing forward without seeking recognition. And then, out of nowhere, you hear about what they've accomplished. They've built something incredible. They've achieved something remarkable. And you're amazed at how they pulled it off. That's the power of letting your results speak for themselves. The truth is, when you announce your goals or your progress too early, you run the risk of distracting yourself from the work that needs to be done. It's easy to get caught up in the idea of telling everyone about your plans, seeking approval or validation before you've even completed the job. But when you do that, you're taking time and energy away from the thing that really matters, the work itself. When you keep your focus on doing the work, day in and day out, the results will come. And when they do, you won't need to say a word. Your success will do all the talking for you. There's a certain kind of power in letting your results speak for themselves. It's a quiet kind of strength. You don't have to tell everyone what you're doing, because the work is visible in the impact you make, in the things you've built, and in the success you've achieved. Imagine the feeling of accomplishing something great, and knowing that the results will speak louder than any words could. That's the kind of success that lasts. It's the kind of success that earns respect and admiration, without the need for constant attention or praise. Now, I want you to understand this concept, because it's a game changer. When you stop seeking validation, and instead focus on doing the work, you start to take control of your journey. You stop relying on others to tell you that you're on the right track. You stop waiting for external recognition. Instead, you begin to measure your success by the results you create, by the progress you make, and by the person you become along the way. That's real success. That's success that no one can take away from you. You see, the world is full of distraction. There's always something pulling at your attention, something trying to convince you that you should be looking for validation, for recognition, for praise. And it's easy to get caught up in that cycle. But when you take the focus off of what others think and put it on your own work, your own progress, and your own results, you free yourself from that need for constant approval. And when you do that, something incredible happens. You start to believe in your work. You start to believe in your journey. You trust that the results will come, even if no one else sees the effort you're putting in right now. Let me be clear though, that doesn't mean you should never celebrate your successes or share your achievements. I'm not saying you should hide your accomplishments, but there's a difference between sharing your success after the fact, when it's earned, and constantly talking about what you're doing, looking for affirmation before you've even finished the job. When you announce your goals too early, it can create pressure. It can make you feel like you need to justify your progress, and that can take away from the focus you need to keep going. But when you focus solely on the work, on putting in the time and effort every single day, you don't have to worry about any of that. The results will speak for themselves, and that's the best kind of recognition you can get. Think about the great achievers throughout history. Think about the ones who've made the biggest impact. Did they spend their time talking about their dreams, announcing their every step? No, they put in the work. They focused on the task at hand, on their goals, and they let their results tell the story. Whether it was building a business, creating art, or making a breakthrough in science, the people who succeeded didn't waste time announcing their every move. They let their results do the talking. And that's why their success is remembered and celebrated today. It's easy to get caught up in the idea that you need to constantly share what you're doing. But let me remind you, the work you're doing now, the steps you're taking toward your goals, they matter more than any social media post or public declaration. The quiet, consistent effort you put in day after day will add up to something extraordinary. And when the time is right, when your results are undeniable, the world will see exactly what you've done. You won't have to say a word. I know it's tempting to want to share your journey, to want to let others know what you're working on. But the truth is, you don't need to seek validation from others to feel good about the work you're doing. You don't need to announce your goals to prove that you're on the right path. The best way to show the world that you're serious is to let your results speak for themselves. Let the work you put in each day be the proof of your commitment. Let the impact you make be the evidence of your dedication. When you do that, you'll find that success doesn't need to be announced. It's already clear to anyone who's paying attention. Number 6, why you should never announce your goals. We all have dreams. We all have goals. You want to accomplish something big. You want to change your life in a meaningful way. But there's one thing that you need to know when it comes to your goals. Never announce them too early. You see, it's tempting, right? You want to share your vision, tell everyone what you're planning, and get some support or encouragement. But let me tell you, there's a time for everything, and announcing your goals too early can actually hold you back more than you realize. When you share your goals prematurely, you're putting unnecessary pressure on yourself. You start to feel like you have to live up to everyone's expectations to prove that you can do it. And the truth is, that pressure can distract you from what really matters, the work itself. When you announce your goals too soon, it becomes about the reaction of others, about how people perceive you, instead of focusing on the daily grind, the steps you need to take, and the hard work that will actually get you to your destination. Think about it. When you make your goal public, you might find yourself receiving a lot of praise, a lot of excitement from friends, family, and even strangers. Everyone's telling you, wow, that's awesome, or you're going to crush it. And in the moment, that feels good. It feels like you're on the right path. But that feeling, it's temporary. The real work hasn't even begun yet. And when you're busy basking in the compliments, it's easy to lose sight of the struggle, the challenges, and the grind that come with achieving any meaningful goal. Here's what happens when you announce your goals too early. You get distracted by the excitement. You start focusing on the validation, the applause, the likes on social media. And that's the trap. Because success doesn't come from attention. Success comes from focus. It comes from rolling up your sleeves, doing the work, and staying committed when no one's watching. But when you've already told everyone your goal, you run the risk of relying on their praise to keep you motivated. And what happens when that praise fades? What happens when the excitement wears off? It becomes harder to stay focused. It becomes harder to keep going when you don't have the crowd cheering for you anymore. The truth is, the more you talk about your goals before you've really gotten started, the more you open yourself up to criticism, doubt, and negativity. There are people out there who, whether they mean to or not, will try to discourage you. They'll question your plans. They'll tell you that it's not realistic, or that you're setting yourself up for failure. And you know what happens when you let that doubt creep in? You start second-guessing yourself. You start wondering if you're really cut out for this. You start questioning your abilities. And the worst part is, you've let someone else's doubt influence you. But when you keep your goals to yourself and focus on the work, you protect yourself from that outside noise. You don't have to deal with unnecessary opinions. You can just put your head down, focus on what needs to be done, and trust the process. When you've done the work, when you've made the progress, that's when the world will start to notice. And at that point, you won't need anyone's validation, because you'll already have the results to back up your efforts. Your success will speak for itself. Now let's talk about why this is important. It's not about secrecy. It's about eliminating distractions. It's about protecting your energy and keeping your focus where it needs to be, on the work that will lead to the success you desire. There's power in silence. There's strength in staying quiet about your plans while you're putting in the work. Think about the people who've achieved great things. How many of them spent years working behind the scenes, quietly honing their craft, building their businesses, and mastering their skills without telling anyone about it? They didn't need to shout about their plans to the world. They let their results do the talking. Now, I'm not saying you should never share your goals with anyone. If you've got a mentor, a coach, or a trusted friend who can help keep you accountable and guide you along the way, that's great. But there's a difference between sharing your goals with a select few and announcing them to everyone. The key is to keep your circle small. Find the people who will support you and stay focused on what matters most, the work. When you keep your goals to yourself, you give yourself the space to think, to plan, and to act without feeling pressured by others' opinions. You don't have to worry about pleasing anyone or living up to anyone else's expectations. You're free to pursue your dreams at your own pace, on your own terms. And when you do that, when you focus solely on the work, something amazing happens. You start to trust yourself. You start to believe in your own abilities. You realize that you don't need anyone else's approval to know that you're on the right track. But when you announce your goals too early, you risk losing that sense of inner confidence. You might start seeking validation from others instead of trusting yourself to get the job done. And that's where the danger lies. Because if you rely on external validation, you'll constantly be searching for approval. You'll constantly be looking for signs that you're doing the right thing. But when you trust yourself, when you let the work speak for itself, you don't need anyone else's approval. You know you're on the right path because you're doing the work and making progress every day. So if you want to truly succeed, if you want to make your dreams a reality, here's the key. Stop announcing your goals to the world before you've even started. Focus on doing the work. Focus on making progress, no matter how small. And when the time is right, when you've put in the effort and created something real, let your success speak for itself. Let the results you've achieved be the proof of your hard work. Because in the end, that's all that matters. When your results speak for themselves, you won't need to tell anyone about your goals. Your success will shine so brightly that everyone around you will see it. And when that happens, you'll realize that all the hard work, all the sacrifices, and all the quiet effort you put in were worth it. Your results will be the loudest statement you could ever make. Number 7, the power of surprise in success. Success is not about being flashy or loud about your accomplishments. In fact, the greatest successes often come when you least expect them and when others are least prepared for them. That's the power of surprise in success. It's not about broadcasting every move you make. It's about showing up day after day, doing the hard work in silence, and letting the results speak for themselves. When you've put in the time, the effort, and the energy, your success will be the surprise that shakes everyone up. Think about it for a second. You've seen it happen before, right? People who work in the background, who quietly build their skills, who don't announce every step of the journey. And then out of nowhere, they show up with a result that leaves everyone else in awe. It's not because they were trying to impress anyone. It's because they were focused on doing the work, improving themselves, and not seeking attention. They were doing the hard stuff when no one was watching. And when the moment came for them to show their success, it hit harder because no one saw it coming. This is where a lot of people get it wrong. They think they need to make a big splash, talk about their plans, and get validation from others before they even start. But that's not where the real power lies. Real success isn't about the hype. It's not about the announcement. It's about the result. It's about being so good at what you do that when you finally step into the spotlight, people can't help but notice. When you're focused on your work and not distracted by the need for validation or attention, you can surprise the world with your ability. The more time you spend working in silence, the more your skills grow. The more your work becomes something solid, something real, and something undeniable. And when the time comes for you to present your work, to share the fruits of your labor, people will be stunned. They'll look at you and wonder, how did they do that? Where did that come from? The best part is, you won't even have to answer. Your success will speak for itself. This kind of success isn't just about impressing others, though. It's about proving to yourself that you are capable when you're putting in the work without constantly needing to announce it. You're showing yourself that you don't need external approval. You're showing yourself that your value isn't dependent on other people's recognition or applause. Your value is in the work itself. It's in your ability to keep going, to push through, even when no one is looking. That's where the real strength lies. And when people finally see your success, when they're shocked by what you've accomplished, it's not just a reflection of your talent or your effort. It's a reflection of your character. It shows that you have the discipline to stay focused and the resilience to push through the challenges without needing anyone to cheer you on. That's a rare quality, and it's something that sets you apart from everyone else. Most people won't put in the time and effort to make their dreams a reality. They'll talk about their goals, they'll share their plans, but they won't do the work that it takes to make those plans come to life. You, on the other hand, will be the one who stays in the background, working tirelessly to build your success. And when the time comes, you'll shock everyone with your results. Surprise is powerful because it captures people's attention. When you've been working hard in silence, and then suddenly you deliver something remarkable, people are left in awe. They can't help but be impressed. They can't help but wonder how you did it. And when they start asking that question, it's your time to shine. But here's the thing, you didn't do it for the applause. You didn't do it for the recognition. You did it because you were focused on the work. You did it because you believed in yourself. And you did it because you knew that the only way to get to where you want to be was to stay consistent and keep moving forward, even when no one was watching. When your success is a surprise, it's also a reflection of your commitment to the process. It's a sign that you've been putting in the work every day, making progress, even when the results weren't immediately visible. This kind of surprise doesn't come from shortcuts. It doesn't come from trying to make things happen quickly. It comes from dedication, from showing up every day and doing the right things, no matter how small they seem. It's about having the patience to trust the process, knowing that if you keep going, the results will eventually come. And when they do, they'll be bigger and more powerful than you ever imagined. Surprise success doesn't have to be a one-time thing either. Once you've mastered the art of working in silence, once you've learned to let your results speak for themselves, you'll find that success becomes easier to achieve. You'll become someone who consistently delivers outstanding results, and each time it will be even more of a surprise, even more of a shock to the people who thought they knew you, or thought they had figured you out. But the truth is, they haven't seen the whole story. They don't know the work you've put in behind the scenes. They don't know the sacrifices you've made, the hours you've spent working when everyone else was asleep or distracted. They just see the end result, and that's enough for them to be amazed. The beauty of this kind of success is that it's lasting. When you let your work surprise the world, when you let your success speak for itself, people will begin to respect you. They'll look at you not just for what you've done, but for how you did it. They'll see your integrity, they'll see your discipline, and most importantly, they'll see that you didn't need anyone else's permission or validation to achieve what you've achieved. That's what true success is about: doing the work, sticking to your plan, and letting the results take care of themselves. Number 8, turning hard work into a lifelong habit. If you want to achieve anything of real value, you've got to make hard work a habit. It can't just be something you do when you feel like it, or when everything is perfectly lined up. You can't wait for the right moment, or for everything to be just right. If you want to succeed, you have to make hard work something you do every day. It has to become part of your routine, part of who you are. The truth is, success isn't just about that big breakthrough moment. It's not about the one-time push, the single effort that changes everything. Real success comes from doing the hard work, day in and day out, when no one is watching, when there's no applause or recognition. It's about showing up consistently, even when you don't feel like it, even when things are tough, and even when there's no immediate reward for your effort. The key to making hard work a habit is understanding that it's not about waiting for motivation. Motivation comes and goes. It's unreliable. There are days when you feel on top of the world, ready to take on anything. But there are other days when you don't feel like getting out of bed, when you don't feel like putting in the effort. That's why you can't rely on motivation alone. If you want to succeed, you have to create discipline. You have to make the choice to do the work. No matter how you feel, no matter the circumstances. Think about it this way. The people who succeed aren't necessarily the ones who work the hardest in the moment. They're the ones who consistently show up, even when they don't want to. They've made hard work a habit. They've built it into their daily life. And that's what makes the difference. Success doesn't come from moments of extreme effort. It comes from the compound effect of daily habits. The little things you do every day that add up over time. This doesn't mean that every day is going to be perfect, or that you'll always feel motivated. But it does mean that you commit to the process. You make hard work part of your lifestyle. You wake up and do what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like it, even when the road ahead seems long and tiring, because you know that over time, those small efforts will pay off. They will add up, and before you know it, you'll be miles ahead of where you were before. Hard work becomes a habit when you stop seeing it as something you have to do and start seeing it as something you want to do. The more you make a habit of showing up, the more it becomes ingrained in your routine. It stops feeling like a chore. It becomes part of your identity. You don't have to talk yourself into it. You just do it. And that's when you know you've turned hard work into a habit. But here's the thing about habits. They're not always easy to build. In fact, it can be incredibly difficult at first. The early stages of any new habit are the hardest. You have to push through resistance, deal with discomfort, and fight the temptation to quit. But that's where the magic happens. That's where you're laying the foundation for success. Every time you show up when you don't feel like it, you're strengthening your discipline. Every time you choose to put in the work, even when you'd rather do something else, you're reinforcing your commitment to your goals. And over time, it becomes easier. The more you do the hard work, the more natural it becomes. It's like exercising a muscle. At first it feels tough, but as you keep going, it becomes easier and easier. Eventually, it becomes second nature. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to motivate yourself. You just show up, because it's what you do. And that's when you start seeing the results. That's when your success becomes inevitable. Now, it's important to understand that this doesn't mean that hard work alone will guarantee success. There are other factors at play: talent, timing, luck, and opportunity. But the truth is, hard work is the foundation. Without it, nothing else matters. Talent is great, but if you don't put in the work, it won't take you far. Timing is important, but if you don't show up when the opportunity presents itself, it won't matter. Hard work is what makes the most of whatever else you have going for you. It's the one thing that you can always control, and it's the thing that will give you the best chance of success. So how do you turn hard work into a lifelong habit? It starts with commitment. It starts with making the decision that you will do what it takes, no matter how long it takes. You have to commit to the process, to the daily grind. And the more you commit, the more natural it becomes. The more you show up, the more you build momentum. Momentum is powerful. It pushes you forward when you don't feel like going. It makes it easier to keep going, even when the road is tough. Hard work as a habit also means setting yourself up for success. You can't expect to just wake up every day and work hard if you don't have a plan. You need structure. You need to know exactly what needs to be done, and you need to break it down into manageable steps. If you try to tackle everything at once, you'll overwhelm yourself, and that's when it's easy to quit. But if you set small, achievable goals and focus on those every day, you'll make progress, and that progress will build on itself. And here's the thing: when hard work becomes a habit, it becomes your greatest asset. It becomes something that you don't even have to think about anymore. It's not a choice. It's just what you do. It's who you are. And over time, that consistency will pay off. You'll look back and realize that all those small efforts, all those days of showing up and doing the work, have added up to something huge. You'll realize that you didn't just work hard for a short period. You worked hard for years. And that's why you succeeded. But the best part is that hard work doesn't just lead to success in one area of your life. It spills over into everything. When you make hard work a habit, it builds your character. It teaches you discipline, resilience, and patience. It teaches you to keep going, even when things aren't going your way. It helps you develop the mental toughness you need to face whatever challenges come your way. And those qualities are valuable in every part of your life, not just in your career or your personal goals. Hard work as a habit makes you a stronger, more capable person overall. The most successful people in the world didn't get there by waiting for the perfect moment or the right circumstances. They got there by showing up every single day and putting in the work. They made hard work a part of their routine, and because of that, they were able to create extraordinary results. They built their success on the foundation of consistent effort. And that's the key to lasting success. Make hard work a habit, and you'll make success inevitable. It's the difference between wishing for success and creating it. So start today. Start building that habit, and let your hard work take you where you want to go. Number 9, why the journey matters more than the recognition. When you achieve success, it's easy to get caught up in the recognition. People notice your progress, and suddenly you're getting attention. Maybe you've reached a goal, maybe you've hit a milestone, and the applause and praise are nice. But here's the truth. The real work doesn't stop just because you've achieved something. The journey doesn't end at success. In fact, success is just another starting point. And how you keep winning after you've made it is what truly matters. Success is not a one-time event. It's an ongoing process. Many people make the mistake of thinking that once they've achieved their goal, they can relax, take it easy, and coast along. But let me tell you something. That's a dangerous mindset. The moment you stop pushing forward, you start losing ground. Success doesn't last unless you continue to put in the effort. You don't just get to win once and then be done. No, to keep winning, you have to keep working. Now you might be thinking, well, I've worked hard to get to where I am. Shouldn't I be able to take a break? The answer is yes and no. Yes, you should celebrate your victories, but no, you shouldn't rest on them. The key to lasting success is realizing that your next challenge is always around the corner. Life doesn't slow down just because you've reached a goal. In fact, sometimes it speeds up. And if you want to keep winning, you have to keep up with it. The mindset that got you to your first level of success is the same mindset that will help you keep going, but it has to evolve. The person you were before your success is not the person who will be able to handle the next level of challenges. When you reach a goal, it's important to keep learning, keep growing, and keep improving. You can't become complacent. You need to shift your focus from the win itself to what comes after it. What will you do next? What more can you accomplish? How can you take this success and build on it? If you think that success is a destination, you're setting yourself up for disappointment. Success is a journey. It's not about where you end up, but about how you get there. So when you've reached a level of success, don't stop and look back. Look forward to what's next. That next step will require new effort, new strategies, and perhaps even new challenges that you haven't encountered before. But that's the point. Growth comes from facing new challenges, not from sitting back and enjoying the ride. If you want to keep winning, you have to keep pushing forward, even when the going gets tough. Another thing to keep in mind is that success doesn't mean you're always going to win. Success isn't a guarantee that everything will work out the way you expected. There will be setbacks. There will be obstacles. There will be days when things don't go according to plan. But it's how you handle those setbacks that determines whether you keep winning. It's not about avoiding failure. It's about learning from it and coming back stronger. You don't stop winning because something went wrong. You keep going because you know the next step is right around the corner. And the only way to get there is to keep working. In fact, your failures are often the stepping stones to your next win. Each time you face a setback, you learn something new. You discover what doesn't work, what needs improvement, and how you can be better. The person who learns from their failures is the one who keeps moving forward, keeps growing, and keeps winning. So don't fear failure. Embrace it as part of your journey. Each failure is an opportunity to learn, adjust, and come back stronger. One of the most important things you can do to keep winning is to surround yourself with the right people. The people you associate with will either propel you forward or hold you back. When you've achieved a certain level of success, you need to be careful about who you spend your time with. Are they lifting you up, encouraging you to go further, or are they content with where they are and holding you back? Successful people know that the people around them play a huge role in their ongoing success. You need to find people who will challenge you, push you, and help you grow. Don't let the comfort of familiarity keep you from reaching your next level. Seek out those who will hold you accountable, inspire you, and make you better. It's also important to realize that your success doesn't exist in a vacuum. The world around you is constantly changing, and what worked for you yesterday may not work tomorrow. If you want to keep winning, you need to adapt, stay flexible, stay open-minded, and never stop learning. The people who keep winning are the ones who are constantly evolving, adapting to new circumstances, and finding new ways to approach their challenges. They understand that success is about progress, not perfection. If you want to keep winning, you have to be willing to grow, to change, and to try new things. The most successful people aren't the ones who rest on their laurels after a big win. They're the ones who keep pushing forward, who keep striving for more, who keep evolving. Success is about the constant pursuit of improvement. It's about setting new goals, facing new challenges, and never letting your previous wins define you. You have to keep your eyes on the future, not the past. The past is done. The future is where your potential lies. If you want to keep winning, you have to keep investing in yourself. Personal growth doesn't stop once you reach a certain level. It's an ongoing process. Keep reading, keep learning, keep developing your skills, and keep looking for ways to get better. The more you invest in yourself, the more you'll be able to handle the challenges that come your way. And the more you invest in yourself, the more valuable you become to others. When you continue to grow, you create more opportunities for yourself and for those around you. So when you achieve success, don't stop. Don't think that you've made it and that everything is going to be smooth sailing from here on out. Success is just the beginning. It's the foundation upon which you build your next achievement. If you want to keep winning, you have to keep working, keep pushing, and keep striving. The person who keeps going is the one who keeps winning. Number 10. How to keep winning after you succeed. You've reached a point where success is within your grasp. You've worked hard, you've made sacrifices, and you've seen results. But here's something important that many people miss. Once you've succeeded, your job isn't over. In fact, it's just beginning. The moment you find yourself at the top of the mountain, you must remind yourself that the climb doesn't stop just because you've reached the peak. Success is not a destination, it's a journey. And if you want to continue to thrive, you need to learn how to keep winning even after you've made it. First of all, you have to recognize that success is not a one-time thing. It's not just about reaching that goal you've been working for. It's about what you do after you achieve it. There's a temptation to slow down, take a break, and bask in the glory of your accomplishments. But the moment you do that, you're risking the very thing you worked so hard for progress. Success doesn't happen in a vacuum, and the world around you doesn't stop changing because you've achieved something. You've earned your victory, but if you want to keep winning, you need to keep moving forward. Many people make the mistake of thinking that once they've reached a certain level of success, they've made it. They think the hardest part is over. But in reality, maintaining success is often harder than achieving it. It's easy to get complacent, to relax and think that you can coast. The truth is, there will always be someone else coming up behind you. Someone who is hungry, someone who is motivated, and someone who is ready to keep pushing. If you want to stay on top, you need to keep working as if you're still climbing. Now, don't get me wrong. You should absolutely take time to enjoy your successes. You deserve it. All those late nights, the sacrifices, the hard work, you've earned the right to celebrate. But while you celebrate, you can't forget that there's more to do. The best way to keep winning is to never stop growing. You don't want to become stagnant or complacent. You've already proven that you can get things done, but now it's about proving that you can maintain that level of success over time. A key part of keeping your success is understanding that you're not done learning. It's easy to think that once you've accomplished something, you have all the answers. But the truth is, the more you achieve, the more you realize how much you still have to learn. If you're not growing, you're falling behind. The best in the world, whether it's in business, sports, or any other area, understand that there's always more to be learned. They're always looking for ways to improve themselves and their craft. This mindset isn't just important for your own personal development. It's also crucial for your relationships with others. People will look to you for inspiration, and they'll be watching to see how you respond after you've had success. Are you going to rest on your laurels, or are you going to show them what it takes to keep going? The way you handle your success will inspire others to do the same. If you stop learning, if you stop growing, that sends the message to those around you that success is a one-time event. But if you keep going, keep pushing, and keep growing, you show them that the journey never ends, and that success is something you must constantly work for. Another thing to remember when you've succeeded is that you must stay humble. It's easy to let success get to your head. It's easy to think you've figured everything out, and that there's nothing more for you to learn. But the truth is, no matter how far you go, there's always someone out there who has more knowledge, more experience, and more wisdom. If you're not careful, you can become arrogant, and that's a quick way to lose everything you've worked for. Humility is what keeps you grounded. It's what allows you to continue to learn and grow, even when you've already achieved a lot. Humble people understand that success is never permanent, and they never stop working to improve themselves. Keeping your success also means understanding the importance of discipline. When you reach a certain level of success, it's easy to think you can take shortcuts. You might feel like you've earned the right to take it easy, but discipline is what got you to where you are, and it's what will keep you there. The moment you lose your discipline, you start losing your edge. Discipline is about consistency. It's about doing the right thing every day, even when you don't feel like it. It's about sticking to your routines, following through on your commitments, and not letting distractions get in the way. Success requires discipline, and without it, you won't be able to sustain what you've worked so hard for. As you keep winning, remember to give back. Success is not just about you, it's about how you can use your position to help others. You've come a long way, but there are still people who need guidance, support, and inspiration. By giving back, whether it's through mentoring, teaching, or simply offering encouragement, you not only help others, but you also help yourself. Helping others reinforces your own success, because it reminds you of the journey it took to get there. It keeps you humble and focused on the bigger picture. But even when you give back, never forget that your journey is your own. Don't allow other people's expectations or opinions to dictate your path. There will always be people who think they know what's best for you, but ultimately, only you can decide what's right for you. Staying true to yourself is essential for long-term success. Listen to the advice of others, but make sure you're the one steering the ship. You're the one who knows what you want and what you're willing to do to get there. Finally, as you continue to win, never lose sight of the bigger purpose behind your success. Success is not about collecting trophies, getting attention, or proving a point to others. It's about doing something meaningful. It's about pushing yourself to be the best you can be, not just for your own benefit, but for the benefit of the world around you. Every victory, every success, should be driven by a deeper purpose. When you focus on your purpose, the external rewards will follow, but they won't be the thing that drives you. The passion for your purpose is what will keep you going, even when the external recognition fades.